Welcome in this presentation regarding the vertebrate features and examples. Animals form a diversified kingdom including unicellular protozoa to human beings. But all the animals share two things in common. Number one, all animal cells lack cell wall, and number two, all animals are heterotroph. They cannot produce their own food. Now, depending on the cellular complexity, animals can be of two types, unicellular or protozoa and multicellular or metazoa. Presently, the members of protozoa form a separate kingdom called as a protista. Now, depending on the number of tissue layer they have from their embryo, metazoans can be of two types, diploblastic animals, animals who derive two layers of tissue from their embryo, the ectoderm and the inner endoderm, and number two, the triploblastic animals, animals with three layers of tissue from outside to inside, ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. All vertebrates fall within the triploblastic animals. Now let us see in detail. Vertebrates literally means animals with vertebral column or backbone. That is, they have a rigid support of bones within their body which allow the free movement of their body parts. That is why the vertebrates are the most active form of animals in this world. Vertebrates have a bilaterally symmetrical body and they are divided into five classes. A. PISCES or fishes. B. Amphibians. C. Reptiles. D. Aves or birds. E. Mammals. We human beings fall within the class mammal. Let us see their features. Features of fish. Fishes are primarily aquatic animals with a streamlined muscular body which remain covered with dermal scales. The scales that we find in the body of fish arise from the dermis layer of the body, not from the epidermis like the reptiles. The respiratory organ is gill, which may or may not be covered with operculum. The locomotion of fish is done by fins, and these fins are always with the fin rays. That is, they have support of bone in their fins. Fishes have single circuit circulation. That means the blood flows in one direction throughout the body through the blood vessels. Fishes have a two-chambered heart which comprises of one auricle and one ventricle. As fish's heart has only one auricle, that is why the oxygenated blood that comes from the gill don't get into the heart, and thus as the heart of fishes transmit only deoxygenated blood like the veins, their heart is also called as the venous heart. Depending on the skeletal material, fishes can be of two types, Chondricthyes, fishes with cartilage, and Osteichthyes, the fishes with bones. Now, let us see their features. Features of the Chondricthyes or the cartilaginous fishes. Their endoskeleton is made up of cartilage, which is not so hard like the bone. Their body remains covered with microscopic placoid type of scales. The male animals have a special type of mating organ called as clasper, which is used to hold the female during reproduction. They have 5 to 7 pairs of gills which don't remain covered with operculum. The cartilaginous fishes lack swim bladder like the bony fishes. The females directly give birth to the young, that is, they parturiate. The fertilization takes place internally, unlike the bony fishes. After fertilization, the fertilized egg are stored in an internal cavity outside the ovary within the female, and the eggs actually hatch within this chamber, and then the new offsprings come out through a spore, so it appears like giving birth or parturition. Here is a diagram of the placoid skull. Here are some examples: the great white shark, the hammer-headed shark, the stingray. All of these are examples of cartilaginous fishes. Features of the Osteichthyes or the bony fishes. They have hard, bony endoskeleton. Their gills remain covered by a operculum. They have mucous gland beneath their skin and their body remain covered with mostly cycloid scale or in some cases by ctenoid or ganoid scale. The mucus that comes out from this gland make their body slippery and streamlined and smooth for the movement. Most of the bony fishes have swim bladder, which is a special type of gas-filled chamber mostly filled with oxygen, which probably play a role in maintaining the buoyancy of the body. The fertilization is external. The female lays eggs. Comparative diagram of the cycloid scale and the ctenoid scale. Examples: the rui and the koi or anabas. Features of amphibians. Amphibians have a naked, moist, glandular skin. Naked skin means they don't have any exoskeleton on their skin. Amphibians are the only group of vertebrates who lack any kind of scale or body hair or feather or anything. As their skin is used for respiration, it always remains moist. They have a 3-chamber heart with 2 auricle and 1 ventricle. Due to the lack of separation in ventricle, the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood get mixed in their heart and the tissue is supplied with this mixed blood. That is why the tissue of amphibians get less oxygen than us, and that is why they cannot produce enough energy or enough body heat to maintain a constant body temperature. The body temperature of the amphibians is subjected to the external fluctuation. That is why they are called as ectothermic or so-called cold-blooded. The presence of a free-living larval stage or tadpole stage is a unique feature for amphibians. The tadpoles live in water, thus they need external gill for their respiration. But when they get adult, the respiration is done by skin and the lungs. The kidneys are mesonephric type. That means the kidneys arise from the middle of the body. The tadpoles and the salamanders who live in water are ammonotelic. That means their urine mostly contain ammonia. But others like the frogs and toads, they are ureotelic. That means their urine mostly contain urea. Their anus, the excretory pore and the genital pore, all of these three open in a common chamber called as the cloaca. The eyes have eyelid and nictitating membrane. Both are functional. They have 10 pair of cranial nerves arising from their brain. Here are two examples. Features of reptiles. Reptiles have a rough skin which remain covered with the epidermal scale, not like the dermal scale of fishes. In some reptiles, these epidermal scales can be modified to plates or scutes. They have a post-anal tail. The extension of the body beyond the anus is called as the tail. Reptiles have post-anal tail. Their heart is partially divided into 3.5 chamber. They have 2 auricle and 1 partially divided ventricle. Due to the partial division of the ventricle, here the blood also get mixed and they are also ectothermic. They are pentadactyl. That means primarily they have 5 fingers or 5 digits with claws, but true snakes don't have any legs. Their cloaca is transversely present in their abdomen. Their kidneys are metanephric. That means the kidneys are situated posterior to the body, and crocodile who live in water, they are amnotelic. Turtles and alligators are ureotelic, containing urea in their urine, and the rest of the reptiles like snakes and lizards are uricotelic, containing uric acid in their urine. They have 12 pair of cranial nerves. Here are some examples: the king cobra, the olive-threaded turtle, the saltwater crocodile, the common garden lizard, the chameleon, the skink. Features of Aves. Their forelimbs is modified to wings, that is, they are primarily bipedal. Their exoskeleton is mostly feather. In addition to fur, some part of their body, like the legs, may also be covered with the scales. They have claws on their digits. The jaw of a bird remains covered with a hard surface of keratin, which is collectively called as a rhamphothica. The upper portion of the rhamphothica is called as the rhinotheca, and the lower half is called as the ganotheca. Here is an example of rhamphothica in kingfisher. Their sternum or the breastbone is modified to a flat keel for the attachment of the flight muscle. As they have a very stout or thick flight muscle or pectoral muscle, that muscle have to be attached for this support, which is not possible by having a normal sternum. That is why their sternum becomes laterally flat and forms the keel bone. Here is a diagram of the keel bone. The bones of birds, mostly the flying birds, are pneumatic in nature. That means they have numerous air cavities in them. It makes their body light. Most of the flying birds have air sacs which remain connected to their lungs, which assist in breathing or respiration during the flight. They have an uropygium gland just at the base of their tail, which secrete oily secretion which make their body or feathers water resistant and glossy. Other than this uropygium gland, birds lack any other kind of glands. The female birds only retain the left ovarian oviduct. The right one is either extinct or non-functional. It is also an adaptation to make the body light. They have only the right aortic arch. That means after leaving the left ventricle, the primary or the first artery or the aorta takes a right turn to reach the other part of the circulation. Here are three examples: common tailor bird, the collared dove, and the Asian quail. Features of mammals. The presence of mammary gland gives the name. The young one of the mammals can lactate their mother, and except platypus, all mammals have a teat in their mammary gland. This teat is the holding position of the young to suck the milk. The childbirth is given by the process of parturition, that is, the females give birth of the young one directly. But it is not observed in platypus. Platypus, like the reptiles or birds, lay eggs. Their skin is covered with body hair, and the skin is also dispersed with the skin is also fitted with some sweat glands and sebaceous glands. The presence of external ear or pinna is also a very unique feature for mammals. They have a diaphragm in between their abdominal cavity and thoracic cavity. This diaphragm is a muscular membrane which assists in the ventilation of lung. Presence of diaphragm is a unique feature for mammals. Mammals have heterodont, diphyodont, and thecodont. Heterodont means the teeth they have are morphologically dissimilar and assigned to different functions. Like human beings have 4 types of teeth: the incisor for cutting, the canine for tearing, and the premolar and molar for chewing. Diphyodont means mammals grow their teeth 2 times in their life. At the young age, the first teeth which arise are commonly called as a milk teeth, which normally falls off at the maturity, and then they have a new set of permanent teeth. Thecodont means the teeth of mammals remain deeply rooted in the gum bone. Mammals have only the left aortic arch. That means the aorta or the primary artery, after leaving the left ventricle, takes a left turn before reaching to the other part of the body. Here are some unique examples. This is the smallest mammal in the world, the bumblebee bat. And this is the largest mammal in the world, not only the largest mammal, the largest animal in the world, the blue whale. Within the mammals, we have a special group of animals called as primates. These primates include the animals which are commonly called as the lemurs, the monkeys, the lories, and the apes. We human beings are said to have arisen from the apes. Some unique features of the primates are the thumbs are opposable. That means the thumb is at right angle to the other digit of the limb. This gives the ability to hold something or to climb something. They have a stereoscopic binocular vision. Both the eye are present in one surface, on the flat surface of the mouth, and that is why they have a acute sense of vision, which may compensate their lack of smell. They have flat nails instead of claws. The cranial capacity of primates is greater than other mammals. They have comparatively large brain. Here are few examples: the orangutan, the chimpanzee, the tarsier, and the gorilla. Chimpanzee is the closest genetic relative of modern human beings in the world. The gene of chimpanzee is more than 99% similar with the human beings. Thank you.